So, a couple things. I was MIA, as you've seen. I haven't posted in a while. I did post something quick from a bed, and I was in Utah recently, very recently, and just got back a few days ago. Um, I went to it's kind of an annual treasure hunter slash stories, Bigfoot, weird stuff, uh, Skinwalker Ranch type of stuff meetup, and I guess they've been doing this thing for like 20 some odd years now. And I was like, man, I wanted to go last year, I couldn't, and I'm like, man, I'm going next year, so I decided I'm going this year. So I went, and it was Friday, just last Friday and Saturday was the date of this event, or this meeting, I should say. And I had a kind of a contact experience, and I'm gonna probably get with Woo Woo Dude maybe this weekend. And it's been a while for a live stream, and I think I'll see if he'll come on, and I think I'll break you in then. But I'll just tell you this: it was the Friday night, the first day of the thing, the event taking place, and then Saturday was the second day, and that was it. So Friday, I'm coming home, and I'm to the Airbnb, and I was just in the rental car alone, and full moon, nice beautiful night sky on the way home and everything. So I'm like, asking to make contact essentially, show me something in the front of the vehicle, a UFO, a light ship, whatever these things are. I'd really like to make contact. And anyways, nothing happened until I got home. I was walking up to the door, and that's when that's when it happened. And this is just some residential neighborhood that I got an Airbnb. It's not like I was out in the middle of nowhere in some lone faraway house. It was about 11 something at night. But I'll tell you the story. I think I posted on Patreon. I said, yeah, I had a little experience. I'm gonna try to get a live stream going with what we do the next this weekend probably. And I think I'll just tell it there, because I did call him. I was like, text him, dude. Next morning, call me. Had a little experience. I think it's still with me. Although I don't think I didn't say that to him. So yeah. So anyways, some dream stuff is kind of important right now, I think. I've seen the food shortages. I've seen the 9/11 type of event. I'm pretty sure I saw New York City in regards to that. I also saw power outages happening in dreams. In particular, I remember I was in Las Vegas when one happened. I think again another one happened. I was in New York, and it may have been related to, another 9/11 kind of a thing that I've seen. But I did have one dream, and I think I mentioned this one, and this is kind of important because if you follow the John McAfee channel on Telegram, he keeps hinting about watch the sky, space stuff, solar flare stuff. Like, he's started posting that stuff fairly recently. He wasn't really getting too obvious a while back about some of the stuff he was talking about. He's look to the stars. He's got Orion's belt and Egypt and the pyramids and things. Okay, well, what does that have to do with the sun? But now he's posting, lately he's been posting stuff about the sun burping off solar flares and giving hints about maybe the big one's going to come from the sun here shortly. And so just let me tell you a few things that he said, and then I'll go into this dream that I had. Or maybe I should... Yeah, I guess I'll do it that way. So he is posting stuff about it, and then he posts G3 and G4. And I go, isn't that a type of solar storm? Let me look that up real quick. Sure enough. And so I'll just, G4 solar storm. I remember seeing a quick definition that popped up. Of course, space.com. Solar burst from the hole in sun may trigger geomagnetic storms. More potent storms, category G4 and G5, can cause power blackouts, disrupt satellite communication links, and even destroy satellites in orbit. So all of a sudden, this is news. right? McAfee's been posting about it for a little while now. And apparently the geomagnetic storms can range from 1 to 5. And, you know, again, 4 is so what, I'm trying to see the one of 1859, so-called Carrington event or Carrington storm, largest geomagnetic storm ever recorded. The storm, which occurred September 2nd, 1859, produced intense auroral, not Ariel from Little Mermaid. No. The storm, which occurred on September 2nd, 1859, produced intense auroral displays as far south as the tropics. It also caused fires as the enhanced electric current flowing through the telegraph wires ignited recording tape at the telegraph stations. The recording tape. On the previous day, British astronomer Richard Carrington of the Royal Greenwich Observatory had made the first observations of a white light solar flare, a bright spot suddenly appearing on the sun. Carrington noted the coincidence but did not claim a direct connection between the geomagnetic storm and the solar flare, thus prefiguring the discipline of space weather research. Now, it doesn't go on to say on that particular event, well, was that a G5? Was it a G4? You know. So I'm just, you know, breaking in on something here, right? So McAfee mentions just, I think it was today, maybe earlier today, about this yesterday, G3, G4. I look it up. Oh yeah, G4, extremely rare, but it is possible. It could wipe out satellites in space. And lo and behold, I don't know, 3 days ago now, I think, Space Force, military branch, has just essentially been handed the responsibility, or has taken the responsibility, however that was done, and controls and is in power of, if you will, all of our satellites. I would imagine U.S. satellites, not other countries, of course. Space Force, you know, Donald Trump, we gotta have a powerful Space Force, we need Space Force. Interesting. It is now, as just a few days ago, in control of all satellites in space. They just took over like it's our turn to take control now. Why? Interesting timing. So he then posts, McAfee, I think this one might have been today. And I do have my thing open, so we take a second to just find this. McAfee, there it is. So he posts, where'd it go? G3, G4, right before the G3, G4 thing, he's posting a picture of the sun burping off a solar flare. Look to the sky, womp. And there's some kind of weird secret code, something, who knows. Who controls the sun? Who controls the moon? The more you know. And he's spelling it M-O-A-R. Now, M-O-A-B is a Moab, mother of all bombs. Those are the huge ones that they've dropped from time to time. So I just find it interesting, like he's been spelling more lately, M-O-A-R. Just interesting. So, who controls the sun? What do you mean? You can control the sun? What does he mean? Strange comment. Is he saying that they're going to make the sun burp off a solar flare to wipe out all the satellites in space, or most of them? We're going to have 10 days of darkness. You know where that came from. And it's going to be an interesting time. I mean, maybe. So then he posts the G3, G4 thing. And then trending from Twitter's Musk, 78K tweets. Politics trending. Nuclear MAGA, as in Make America Great Again. Then he posts a thing with Britney Spears dancing on a boat. And he says, white hats in control. Define love to swallow. You already know. Q. Then the next thing he drops is a image of a nuclear bomb, like a little GIF repeating, video. That's of a nuclear bomb going off. Doesn't really comment on it. And the next thing he says, That one is going to leave a mark. Who really has the nuclear codes? Again, the more you know. And he spells it again, M-O-A-R. And then he posts a picture of Melania Trump. Like, I don't know why he keeps posting stuff about her, but we'll find out one day, I'm imagining. So, it brought me back when he made the comment, who really controls the sun? Who really controls the moon? I had one of these called a prophetic dream. And I took my family out to a park, a little picnic, and we brought a couple of the four-wheelers with us. And I'm like, man, I got to go home and grab something. And the truck still got the trailer attached. I'll just take one of the four-wheelers. It's pretty close to home. And I'll, ride on the grass or something, whatever. I'll go home. So I go home, and home, in my dream, is my childhood place I grew up, which is an apartment complex. And I've had a bunch of dreams there. Spirit showed me a lot of stuff at my childhood place. I'm not sure, 100% sure why they take me there, but maybe it's a comfort thing. I don't know. So I go into the apartment. Honestly, in the dream, I don't even know what I got. It was meaningless. And I come back out. The four-wheeler's there. I'm about to get on the thing and start it up. And I look up. It's like it was daylight. And it starts getting dark rapidly. And I'm like, whoa. Like, not dark, but just like, kind of like maybe a sun eclipse or something. I don't know, just getting kind of dark. Just enough to make you go, you look up in the sky, and I'm like, it was a giant-sized planetary object. Round like a planet, looked kind of like a planet. And I took my notes at the time, but I'm going to go off memory. I think it reminded me of just like kind of a barren, rugged-looking, mountainous-looking planet. Even from that far away, you can see it. And it's coming towards Earth. And I'm like, oh my God, it's going to literally hit us. So I'm like watching it. I'm waiting to see it like hit, the atmosphere and whatnot, and like just whatever's going to happen. And I'm like, and then it just stops. It stops coming closer. But it's very close to the Earth as it is. I can see mountain ranges on the thing, It just stops. And it's not spinning, it just stops. And I don't remember now thinking of it if it was spinning when it came towards the Earth or whatever, but nonetheless, it came and then just stopped. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. And then all of a sudden, it starts not spinning like you would expect on its axis, the center. It starts tilting like this, forward and downward, like just like that. And I'm like, I'm just watching this and like kind of amazed by what I'm watching. And then all of a sudden, it burps off an EMP. I watch it. I know exactly. I get this information from the dream. It's an EMP. And the lights start going. I just see the street lights, because the street lights came on because it was making everything so dark. And they just went, and power just went out everywhere. And I'm like, oh crap, my family's not too far, but I gotta go get them. We gotta come back. And I'm going, number one, I get this kind of note, like, I'm thinking I'm seeing a planet. It looks like a planet. It spins like I told you, burps off an EMP. And as soon as that happens, this kind of thought comes in, or information comes in. E.T. did that. And I go, oh, okay. So let me get on this four-wheeler. I instantly get this knowing in the dream. Don't you dare use that nice big diesel generator you got, which I do have. But in the dream, I knew I had it there, even though I'm back at my childhood place of apartment complex. I owned it in that dream too. Don't you dare run that diesel generator for comfort. You are only to use that thing for the necessities that you need. That was the information that came in. Okay? So I get on the four-wheeler and I'm like, I'm not going to go on the street because all I need now is some stupid cop to bust my balls in an emergency. Like, I'm going back to my family. So I go, you know what? I'm just going to go on the sidewalk. It was kind of a wide sidewalk. I'm just going to go down that. Take it easy. I'll be there in no time. And as I'm going, I'm noticing not seeing any cars on the streets driving anywhere. I mean, not at all. I don't remember seeing any cars. But on the sidewalk, there's people walking. There's people on like bicycles. There's people on scooters. There's even people on like motorcycle type scooters. You know, so those are at least running, just like my four-wheeler was running. But there were not any cars running. No vehicles on the streets. And, you know, kind of odd. So that could mean, yeah, we had a solar thing happen. It's not going to wipe your vehicle out per se. But your gas stations, because the electric grid's down, yeah, they're down. Therefore, that's why you didn't see the cars. You know, maybe that was the reason it was shown to me that way. I don't know. And it was on my way there where I think I woke up. And I've had other dreams about, I think I saw an EMP. I think I saw a 9/11 attack. I'm pretty quite certain. Las Vegas, I saw the power out. New York City, power out. Big bombing event or something. And then another dream way long before all these. I was like a huge flooding event. I was pretty sure I was in New York. Subway, I've told you this a few times. In the subway, yeah, it's coming, go. I jump in this thing by myself. I press the wrong button, it goes backwards. No, shit, other way. Okay, there we go. Off I go. I just escaped and then come out of the subway area and up into the, you know, city area on stilts or whatever the hell those things are, you know, platform. And I'm looking at destruction that I just don't even know what I'm looking at. So bad. But it was, in my eyes, this was due to the water that came in. Now, of course, if a major bomb or something went off and caused a flood to come in, well, in either case, you know, like, however you want to look at that. It was just destruction of absolutely incredible proportions. I mean, I couldn't believe I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. I'm like, man, I don't even know if Hollywood's made it look this bad. You know, like, it just was pretty bad. And now that was one. And again, I've had the dreams recently about the food shortages and me buying a freezer with my wife in the dream not too long ago. We're going to the store. We need to go buy a freezer. Another one. We already have one. Buy another one. And this one, you are basically to use for putting bread in this thing. And that's it. I didn't put meat in there. Like, it was us. I just saw a a freezer filled to the top with freaking frozen bread. That was the download in the dream. So my dad's been coming over. I got extra bread. I got some meat. Let me bring it over. All right. So we've been filling it. So I just asked him. That little ding was him replying a little while ago. I asked him like freaking 3 hours ago. I use that frequency machine on your neck. He's had a problem for like 25 years. Comes over the other day. And well, I'll save that one. I'll save that for just a second. Let me finish this thing because I had something on my mind about my dreams. Monday, I'm still in Utah. We're about to come back the next day. And I get a quick dream. The whole time out there, I wasn't getting really any dreams. I think I had one little tiny one or something. And then I got this one dream. I'm doing a pre-flight on my helicopter. And I'm up on the road, standing up on these little things to get to the top of the rotor head where I check stuff, you know. And I noticed, there's a couple, you know, like some bolts are loose. And I don't know if I still have the email because I wanted to say, did I say a couple of bolts were loose or some bolts were loose? I want to be clear just to tell you, you know, so we know what the dream really actually said. Yeah, some. I just wrote, had a dream, some bolts were loose on the rotor head. So that's the main blade. You know, it's got 3 blades, main rotor hub assembly. So I'm standing up there doing my pre-flight, and I go, oh, there's some bolts loose. You know, you ain't gonna fly with like that. I wake up, done. Send myself the email. You know, you had this dream. Next time you go fly the helicopter, when you get back down to Florida, you better do a nice once or twice over of the helicopter pre-flight, and maybe look at things. I'm thinking maybe I'll look at things I don't normally look at, like when doing a pre-flight, just to be safe, you know. So sure enough, 2 days later, I'm gonna go fly it, and I go over there, and I'm remembering this dream, and I'm like, okay, you know, like let me climb up here and take a peek, you know, looking around. I mean, everything's just perfect. It's got the safety cotter pins and, you know, everywhere they belong, and everything looks just fine. I mean, I checked every little bolt and nut that was on the top of that thing. Like, it is just fine. I go, okay, well, go back down and continue your pre-flight. So I go back down, I'm doing my thing, and I'm going, oh yeah, there's the battery. It's a brand new battery, as in like a few months old. And I'm going, let me just feel those, see how those cables are. I grab the negative cable. It's loose as can be. So it's but picture my arm as the cable, and it's got a little eye, you know. It has a bolt that goes through into the battery. So the battery head top is threaded, female, and it's got a bolt, male, that screws in, you know, nice and tight. And so does the positive connection, same thing. So I then go grab the positive connection. It's as loose as the other one. I mean effing loose. I can spin the bolts with my fingers. And I'm going, okay. So I got, you know, a wrench, 1/2-inch wrench. Crank it down. Yep. Spin. Of course, I use my fingers to tighten it up, tighten it up, tighten it up. Crank it down. Next one. Spin it. Okay, tight. Crank it down. Pretty good. And then I landed, you know, went and flew it, landed somewhere else. Different airport. Checked it again. You know, checked a few things. I kind of did a quick little pre-flight on everything. Got some gas. Flew back. And landed again, you know, at my normal spot. And was done for flying. And then just kind of walked over stuff again, looking at everything. Nice and tight. Battery's nice. Everything was nice and tight. So, once again, man, Spirit saying, hey, you know, just pay attention. There's going to be a little issue. And wouldn't have been life-threatening. That helicopter, even if it lost all power, the alternator died, I mean, shorted, whatever, and it just lights out, that helicopter will still fly until I shut it off. Because it's mechanically driven fuel pump, even though it's fuel injected. And I have a secondary boost pump, which is electric. That would have quit. But the mechanical, of course, would be fine. You know, it kept running. So just FYI, I just want to tell you that. Like, I'm just amazed. And so, you know, these spirit guides, boy, they are looking out for old Jay Snip, man. And I am so thankful for that. To just get that information, man. It's just as incredible. So, anyways, my dad, you know, I bought that frequency machine. And I can tell you, I'll go ahead and, I'm going to pull up the website. And I'll tell you what it is, what it's called. I'm not really worried about it. It is known as an Electro-Equiscope. If you search that right away in a site called Intel Bio, and that's 2 L's. Intel, 2 L's Bio. And you can hit, you know, find a practitioner, see if someone's in your area, maybe if that has one. There's not very many people that have them. And they're typically doctor's offices, and they may not work on you for the problem you have. Some of them are like, oh, we don't do that, blah, blah, blah. So this is the device. I mean, this is exactly it. This is what I got. I saw myself buying this thing in a dream. I already knew if I saw that, I have to have one. So I did. It is extremely, upsettingly, to be honest with you, expensive. And I'll just say it's $40,000. And I asked Spirit, there's another company out of Canada that's got one that kind of does the same thing, but that thing does 2 things in one. This other one, you got to have 1 machine for each feature. So 2 things, 2 machines. But they're like $6,000 and $8,000. That's slightly better than $40,000. Spirit, I saw myself buying this one, of course, the freaking $40K one, but I've now discovered this other one. Can I buy? Should I buy that one? They gave me the dream, and it was an interpretation, but it was pretty easy to figure out. It kind of sort of works. It might, but not really. Kind of maybe it's something. Get the one we showed you in the other dream. Okay. So my dad comes over a while back, not too long ago. I've had this like a neck C3 and C4, C5, whatever, you know, I got this compression thing and disc thing, whatever. And man, I picked up my neighbors got goats. And they starve the damn thing, so I feed them all the time. I go by this place. They've got 40-pound carrot bags, 2 of them. Hey, sir, take them home, free. Takes them home. Feed the goats. The goats were in heaven. Now, he's grabbing these 40-pound bags and he's walking them wherever he's going with them at his house. And he's like, oh man, I kind of tweaked this damn thing. That's freaking 40-pound bag. Oh, it's too much. I shouldn't have done it. Blah, blah, blah. My dad's in his 70s, okay? So he says, he came over. So I'm like, well, come over. Let me try this thing on you. What the hell? Just do it. So he comes over and he's like, yeah, I can kind of turn about right there. Yeah, I can't go any further than that right now. He's like, I kind of tweaked it. So that's all I got right now. And it hurt. I'm in pain. It hurts. I'm like, okay. So, you got these 2 little leads. And of course, there's a bunch of different attachments, but I really like using the leads. That's just my thing. So I put the little gel on there. Okay, Dad, I'm going to move it around. I'm going to have the power setting a little high so that when we get close to the spot, you're going to know it. And if we get right on the spot, you're really going to know it. And then we'll lower it to where you can handle it. The power. Okay. So, I'm trying to find it. Oh, right there. Okay. All right, hold it. Hold. I'm holding my hand. Okay, let me lower it. Okay. Put the other one back on there. How's that? Oh, okay, let me lower it again. That's still too much. So when I find that I'm having to lower the thing way low, and it's still like they can hardly handle it, you got some problems. Like, this thing's gonna, it's really gonna work. It's gonna do a number on you. But it should help. So that was the case. So he came over, I want to say 3 different times. Each time it was hurting him, but by the 3rd time I was able to add more power setting, intensity, and he could handle it, So I was like, okay, well, something's happening already. It's already healing, because that's typically what happens. If I do this thing on my foot, it does not hurt anymore at all, period. But when I first started, with the guy that was using it before I bought mine, it was painful. Like, they were hitting some spots with some high power. Oh, turn that down. Okay, whoa. And now I can have full power and I won't feel anything. It's just amazing how this thing works. So I just texted him tonight because I was like, oh yeah, I've been gone for like, a week and a half or something. And, last time I saw him was, I don't know when before that, a few days before maybe I did a session on him, and that was the last time. So he's had about 2 weeks to recover and like, how's your neck? So I thought, hey, I texted him earlier, how's your neck? Is your neck getting any better? Of course, 3 hours later, less pain and more movement. I like the sound of that. He's had this going on 25 years. I'm over here complaining about my foot for 13 years. So I will tell you this, when I first used it on him, the very first session, he came over, that's when he came over, oh, my neck, I got it right about there. I can't really go further than that right now. It's really hurting. Okay. I said, look, it's going to be sore tomorrow after we're done with this session. I can pretty much promise you that. But it's okay. It's just, your body's going to heal, but you're going to probably be a little sore tomorrow, not in this area. So, FYI. Okay. I'm like, don't do anything. Don't do anything strenuous. Let me do that. Like, just leave yourself alone. Be calm. Like, let yourself heal up. So it was maybe 20, maybe I worked on it for 20 minutes. I don't know. Okay, good enough. We're done. And he sits down in the next couch next to me, and he's like, just almost right away, he's like, wait a minute. Okay, when I came over, right there. About right there. I couldn't go any further than that. Watch this. I can move a lot further now. It still kind of, it still hurts. I still got some pain, but he goes, wow, is that normal? I go, I wouldn't think it would happen immediately. I go, but you know what? This thing's done some pretty amazing things for people apparently. So I go, I guess I'm not really shocked that it did. And just FYI for my foot's still not 100%. And when I was out in Utah, I went on 2 or 3 days, I went to places that you got to hike and climb onto stuff and like see stuff, and there was, like public places, but I had to use my feet in some interesting ways, walking up and down certain things and climbing on stuff. And like the first day or whatever it was, and I'm like, my foot is a little, I feel a little like, okay, I'm feeling a little something down there, like, a little bit of pain. So now typically that would have started it, would have triggered it, it would have accelerated and got worse, and I wouldn't want to be going out anywhere. I certainly wouldn't have gone out the next day or the day after. Nope, I need to break. I need to just lay off of it and let it recover, and it might be hurting me for a week or 2 or 3. There's no telling. But it was a little sore the next day from this little hike, and then I thought, well, okay, here we go. Let's see what happens. And then the next day, it was kind of gone, like back to where it was, which I'll just say, let's call it a level 1 out of 10 for pain. And it maybe got to a 3 when I was like, uh-oh, here we go. But normally when it comes on, it's, at the very least, it's going to be a 7 out of 10. Typically, it's an 8 or 9. And every now and then, it could be a 10. And that just is a real sucky day. It maybe got to 3. Next day, it just, okay, back to 1 or whatever the hell it was. And I can still grab my pinky toe and do this, which would have normally like, that kind of hurt, stop, like just a little bit, and I don't know if it was all that scar tissue in there, but I think this machine just destroyed all that scar tissue or something in there. It did something, man, and whatever else, because it was like my foot pain, if this is my toe, right, it would be like right kind of in between these knuckles, right? It'd be like right in here, but like not necessarily on the bottom, not necessarily on top, like in the middle, right, in the meat, like in that's kind of where it hurt. So they initially had a probe here, because that was like the sweet spot, like when it hurts, okay, right in here, like, so they got a probe there, and then we put one up here, because I got some scar tissue right here where they did the surgery, so we just they kind of ran it up and down here a little bit, just slowly. But the main thing, I mean, I did feel it zapping up here a bit, but it also zapped down here. And I was like, it was like, whoa, okay, yeah, that hurts, okay, whoa, lower power, thank you. And then the next time I came in, which was a couple of days later, I took a day off, because they typically say take 1 to 2 days off. Probably, honestly, between me and you should probably take 2 days off. Come in for another session, take 2 days off, come in for another session, like that would probably be okay. Unless they're really working on you for a long time, your foot or your whatever problem is might hurt for several days. If you just get too long and powerful of a session, like you don't need to be there for an hour on one thing. That's too long. So next thing I know, that he's like, well, I'm just gonna move it around. Let's just see if we can find any other spots that hurt. So he was like doing, yep, that hurts. Yep. Goes way over here, and this whole thing had like a weird kind of sensation. This whole side. Oh yeah, the whole thing. Like whoa, yeah. Even though you're zapping here, I feel it all the way up and down here. I'm like, okay, yep, that hurts too. Okay. Back over here. Yep, that hurts. Let's go over to this next toe. Yep. Oh yeah. Oh shoot, I didn't realize that. I go, oh, that's definitely a sweet spot. Okay. How about over here? Nothing. 0. Okay. How about over here? Nothing. 0. How about nothing? Absolutely nothing. I don't feel anything. Back over here. Oh yeah, right there. Okay. So I had this kind of hold, like this thing in my foot, over here in my foot, in the middle of my foot, these 2 toes, off to the side over here, and of course on the bottom half, like in this area generally. And every one of those things hurt for the first maybe 3 sessions, I'm guessing. Maybe 3 or 4 sessions, actually. I don't remember. But I've had probably, with him alone, before I got my machine, I probably had about 9, I want to say 8 or 9 maybe sessions. And then I got the machine and I'm started using it on myself. But by then it was already not zapping anymore. By the probably 5th or so session, I think it stopped zapping me. And of course now I can wiggle it more. This one I can wiggle quite a bit. Pinky will move just a little bit. So I did show you this a while back, but just I got my dirt and caught my foot, whatever. So let's see if okay, so let's see this way. So you can see that 4th toe. It's curly. It's not perfect, but it definitely is moving. And I'm trying to get you to where you can see my pinky, because it's kind of wanting to key it out on my screen thing here. but it actually has a little bit of movement. Not much. And it was pretty much dead. It wouldn't move at all. And like I said, I was like, I don't care if I could ever move either of those two toes again the rest of my life. If I can just get this pain dealt with, I'm fine. I mean, what do I need my toes for? When, you know, as far as, you know, I got my hands. You grab with your hands. You don't grab with your freaking toes. You know, they do help you walk, but a dead toe will help you walk just as good as a good toe. You know, like, it's fine. So I was like, gosh, I sure hope, you know, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, so it's, yeah, it's not perfect, but God, is it better? Man, is it better? And I haven't had a bad day yet, you know, what I'd call a bad day. And the only kind of bad day was that one, the hike thing. And then it was like, wow, it only got to that level. It wasn't as bad as I was waiting for it to come on even stronger. Cause that's like, okay, you triggered it now, get ready. And nope, you're good. See you later. So, I mean, I'll tell you this, there's been a few times prior to using this, either his machine or mine, it's the same machine, but prior to using this thing, I was flying the helicopter. You know, you got your anti-torque pedals, and my left foot, you know, flying for an hour or something, I was kind of like, oh man, I kind of got aggravated. The foot got aggravated a little bit after I landed and everything. I'm like feeling down, go, oh yeah, my foot kind of didn't like that. And I go, I would just power through it. I'm not gonna, I can't fly helicopters anymore because it hurts my foot. Hell no, I'll just power through it. But it happened a couple times, at least a couple, 2 or 3 times, where I'm going, yeah, if I'm not, maybe I need to angle my left foot a little differently so I don't start the aggravation process on it. It wasn't enough to make it go like hurt level, but it was enough to aggravate it a bit. So ever since I've used this machine, I've flown the thing quite a few times, and I had a really long flight. Yesterday or the day before? Yesterday? I think it was yesterday. And just did a pretty long flight to another airport and back, like I was mentioning to you with the Bolt thing. And I've got a Bose A20 headset, real nice headset, noise canceling, Bluetooth, connect to your phone, so I don't, you know, you're not screwing around looking while you're trying to fly. So I can, you know, do voice commands and stuff on my phone. So I see my wife, oh, your dad's over here. And I go, and she goes, you're still flying back? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, oh, maybe you can take your dad for a ride. And I go, yeah, all right, yeah. I'm like, okay, tell him I'll be there in like, whatever it was like 10 minutes away. I was like, yeah, I'll be there. So I land out in this field in front of, it's not my property, but the neighbor had told me I could, you know, a long time ago. So, and I've already landed there a bunch of times. So I land there, I shut it down. My dad comes up and, well, let's go. So I show him how to kind of get in the seat. Like, you know, you don't grab the control on your way in. That's not, you know, a handle. You know, just grab that, sit there, turn around, lift your leg up over the control, the cyclic. And so in he goes, and off we go. We fly, and I was like, I'm just gonna fly it back to the airport, essentially, you know, and you know, take it for a little spin or whatever. So we did, and he liked it. He thought it was pretty cool. I'm like, you ever been in a helicopter? He's like, no, never. He goes, your brother-in-law Herbie, he never did either. What did he think? I go, he didn't either, but he loved it. It was a lot of fun. So I took my friend Sean up not too long ago. He loved it. It was a lot of fun. I guess it was pretty cool. So, anyways, just a few things I want to discuss, you know. And I know Penny Kelly had done a look-see video recently, and she goes, you know, I think I might just tone way back on the look-sees and do it maybe every 3 months or maybe even every 6 months. It's just, you know, I'm seeing things that are all possibilities. They may happen, they may not happen. And she goes, I'm starting to, I don't know if she's getting this in the look-see or how she's figuring this out, but she's like, you know, it's like I do the look-see, so then everyone just goes, oh, well, I kind of have a view of the future. I'll just sit back and do nothing about anything, you know, like, well, it sounds like other people will handle the politics and that, you know, the protests, and, you know, I'll just sit back because I saw what Penny said, you know. And she goes, yeah, it's kind of causing like inaction, I think, in certain things because people just get used to it and like, oh, so she goes, that's not, you know, that's not the right thing. You know, we need to be active in everything right now, you know. So I saw her say that, you know, and I will remind you though, she did do a look-see quite a while ago And it sounded, when she does it, she's only looking a few months out. And those few months came and went, never happened. But then it did happen, and that was Kamala Harris casting the tiebreaker vote of this stupid tax bill. And she had said, when Penny had seen this, she goes, there's going to be something that's legislation that sucks for the citizen. We don't want it. It becomes a 50-50 vote, and guess who comes in and passes it? Kamala Harris, the vice president. I see this happening, and American citizens are not happy about it. But I don't know what the legislation was. She didn't know. It just happened the other day. So that was quite a while ago, look-see. Normally you'd write that off and go, well, that didn't happen. But I tell you time and time again in the psychic world, forget timing. Just listen to what they say and wait. And keep those things in the back of your mind. And she said in this look-see too, she's like, yeah, food shortages are absolutely coming. She goes, and she got upset about this. She's like, I don't think this was America, to be honest with you. This was probably some other country that is way affected by what happens over here, our dollar and everything, and fuel costs go up here. It's devastating to some poor country, right? But she was like, I'm seeing people eating people. This is cannibalism. And she just couldn't, she was like, I need a minute. I need a minute. Let me move on to the next one, And you don't think about those kind of things, but it makes sense. It makes sense. Again, never, ever, ever underestimate somebody else's desperation. That goes in life for a lot of things, by the way. Never underestimate somebody else's desperation. Oh, nobody would do that. I'm not worried about it. Oh, really? Do you know if they have kids to feed? Do you know what someone's willing to do when their kids and themselves are starving to death? Never underestimate somebody else's desperation. Don't you ever forget that phrase. Because you might find yourself here in America and other Western countries where maybe not cannibalism, but other things. Oh, that poor lady, she's broke down the side of the road. Next thing you know, you're being set up to be robbed. You know what I mean? Like, things like that are going to happen. I'm telling you. And, I just wanted to help the lady. She had a baby. I saw the carriage thing, and oh my gosh. Well, yeah, she set you up real good, didn't she? Again, it's just people will do anything when they're desperate. Never underestimate somebody else's desperation. And the thing is, you may not know how desperate a person is because they haven't told you anything yet. And you're not in their mind, but they might be absolute panic mode desperation, willing to do anything to get some food and money or whatever they need at that moment. Plain and simple. I just watched a video. I think I retweeted it. Of a Democratic run town. Shocker. Oh, shocker. I think it was Los Angeles. I wrote, I wonder if this is a Democrat run town. LAPD HQ. Flash mob looters ransack convenience store after street takeover. On August 15th, around 12:40 a.m. This is, 7-Eleven. They ran. I thought, well, play the video. Oh, well, YouTube and copyright. No, F it. Unbelievable. And the most unbelievable thing is, you got to be a moron to not wear a face mask of some kind or cover your face in this day and age. They all got their cameras out. Everybody's filming everybody. The convenience stores got cameras. But then they probably thought, well, our local district attorney is a George Soros guy. He won't press charges on us anyways. Oh, well, in that case, don't worry about the mask. You're right. Don't worry about it. Someone said to me, imagine when there are real food shortages. Yikes. Someone says, Jason, do you still believe silver is going to single digits? I've been buying, but leaving dry power. Yes, I do. Absolutely. And by the way, my name is Joe. Joda. Joe, Joda. Na 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 na. I went to a place down in Utah, asked for some contact, got smacked with a bra by Yoda. Y-O-D-A Yoda. That was a funny song by Weird Al, wasn't it? No, but I did have a little experience that was, it was uncomfortable. It wasn't evil, but it was an uncomfortable night and experience. And I'm going to tell you about it when I do the live stream with Boo Doodle. I'm going to save it for that time. So on that note, 45-minute video. Like Shania Twain once said, I'm out of here.